'cause it's war. The only lie I've ever known. Only you know how I know. Tobacco road.
Yeah, this is, I'm working on these documents. I'm going to store them away. I've had them in different places, and so this is that, and this is a wood boat detail from the 54, and Clark Mills planned on doing it as a 52 and had these plans for his wood boat building. And so this was a detail here. You can see where the nail is edge nailed into the keelson, and he's been very careful to label everything: keelson, lead, floor timber. There's his Clark Mills, March 15th, 1979. And he says it's the typical construction 52 station 6 detail. So this should be interesting to wood boat builders, to boat builders in general, but it's some of Clark Mills' work, which I think was very good. Yeah, here's another drawing from Clark Mills, and I like the way he has it all here. Clark Mills, April 5, 1979. Arrangement number 2. So this is some of Clark's early drawings on the boat. Shows it as a center border. Shows some of the details. And again, this should be interesting to any boat builders, you know, boat admirers, wood boat builders. He was one of the classic boat builders, and he did most of this, you know, with help, but mostly by himself. So you have big companies with, you know, hundreds of people working, and here's Clark, you know, staying up late at night doing drawings for his work the next day in the workshop. Yeah, this is that detail again, and those were how he was going to edge nail those strips. And again, this is all scale, and you could find out how long the nail was, how big the strips were, and then the bolts. You know, the wood boat builders like to use bronze, so they use bronze nails, bronze bolts, and yeah, they had a reason. They said that they didn't trust stainless, and who knows, but that was their preference. And you can see this long bolt here, and that was how the lead was going to be bolted through the floor timber. So today you have all of these boats that are losing their keels, and that's the big news story now, is boats losing keels. Well, 1 bolt, 2 bolts, you know what I mean? They were going to have this well secured with bolts, and this was you know, basically, you know, here's the lead, here's the keelson, the wood, there's the floor timber, and I don't think this lead was going to go anywhere. But anyway, I thought I'd go back and explain that they used bronze a lot, and George Luzier and Clark Mills both were very definite about wanting to use bronze. And another thing about bronze and bronze nails is they're easier to cut through with a saw. So if you have to cut through them, it's easier than stainless. So you know, you don't dull your blade as much. So that's it. Okay, and here he's got it written in there. That is the center board right there. And he was very proud that he had come up with the technique of making center boards where the trunk didn't leak. And so he was saying that he had, over the years, found that out. You've got even the washers here, and the nuts, and the bolts. Again, you got the bronze nail, and That's how he was building boats. Yeah, and here's the wood details of how he was going to build the boat. And we'll go right back here and get right from his drawing the 52 centerboard sailing auxiliary cruiser, March 13th, 1979. So there's the wood boat construction. The stem is right here. The keelson is right here. I don't know, I think they call this the horn timber, but it's what you attach your rudder to. Your rudder post would go right there. And then this is the lead right here. All this is a lead detail, and I guess that's where the centerboard went for his boat. Here's the centerboard here. Here's the construction detail. These would all be bolts. And that was pretty much it. There's the stations of the boat. Each of these is a station, and starting with 1/2 and all the way along. And it says right here, 2 bolts, 1/2 inch diameter, in way of shaft. So that's just one of his notes to himself. And this is how they build the frames to build the boat inside of, right here. So, yeah. Thought you guys might be interested in that. Yeah, and this is what I call the 56-foot windmill. And you can see by the lines of the boat, he was building windmills for racing, and each time they came back from a race, somebody would talk about changes to make, and you can see the way the keel is here. This goes right into the skeg, and people have said to me that you take the area of the skeg and add it to the area of the rudder. So this was a really sound way of doing it, and it was a pretty narrow boat. What the width is on this one, but this was for a man named Gilmore. You can see it has 3 masts and an attractive traditional cabin house. And yeah, this is the giant windmill, if anybody's listening. Here's the giant windmill again with 3 masts, and you can see 5,000 pounds, 8,000 pounds. You know, this was just his detail. I don't know really what he meant by those, but imagine that's lead. And, you know, the draft here is, if you look, you can see it's a Gilmore Series number 6, 56 feet, 12 feet, 2 inches wide by 4 feet depth. So that boat would draw 4 feet and looks like a very practical boat. You can see the lead and the keel. And this was a boat that it may have been built. I don't know. You know, I don't live in Clearwater, and there was one, a Sunflower, that used to sail, and this could have been the Sunflower. I used to see it going out. It was a charter boat for years. Now we're at the Land's End 54, and again, the same lines, no hard chines, not 56, but 54, and it's a shallow draft, 3-foot draft. Right here, it tells you. It's a 14-foot beam. I guess it doesn't say 3-foot draft there, but that's what it was. And yeah, just details. So this is part of Clark's work. Okay, this is the Land's End 54 lines drawings, and I have shown this before, but it's the best way to see what a boat really looks like. You know, if you really want to see the shape of the boat, and the lines drawing is, yeah, it's just a good indicator of the shape of the boat. So you can see it right here. And these drawings were done by Håkan Sodergren and based on the boat that I built. And so I'm going to put all this stuff in storage. Again, Hurricane Irma, which was a couple of hurricanes ago, was the thing that made me kind of grab all these things and try to put them up and get them out of the floodwater. You know, we're at 3-foot elevation. They predicted a 10-foot surge of water, so you do the math. But I was trying to preserve these, and now I'm just going to store them away in my shed, and if anybody's interested, I'll have them. Yeah, this is the original design as a sloop. And just an interesting aside, as I was talking to Clark about it, and he had drawn it as a ketch, and so I was talking to him about it, and he says, you know, I drew it as a ketch because the owner wanted it as a catch, the potential owner. And he says, I always thought that it should be a schooner. And here it is as a sloop. So again, boats are like hats. Everyone wants something a little bit different. But I had been sailing sloops for many years, and I thought, well, I'm not going to do a boat different from what I've been sailing all these years. So I first drew it, had it drawn as a sloop. So again, Hoken did this, a very nice drawings. He was a good artist, a good designer. Yeah, here's a Glenn Henderson drawing, and he did these drawings of the rudder, the construction, the bearings, everything. There's his detailed thing. So this was Glenn Henderson. He worked, he had Henderson boats and designed a series of boats that were fairly famous racing here. And then he went to work for Hunter Marine doing Hunter boats. But this is his detail on how to build the rudder, how to assemble it. There you go, Glenn Henderson. Yeah, the description of this is I am putting these in storage, and so I may have filmed these before, and excuse me for repeating myself, but this is the Clark Mills 27. It's just a drawing that I came across. Don't know if it's ever been built. Don't think it has. There it is, 27.6 on the waterline, 23.6. The beam was 10 feet. The draft is 1 foot 6 inches, and with the board down it was 6 feet. So this was Clark Mills. Everybody has their idea of a perfect boat. This is getting pretty close because we were all fans of shallow draft, shallow water boats because we grew up in them. Okay, here's the Land's End 54 with a dagger board in it, so you can look at this compared to the center board that Clark had planned, and you can see how the dagger board kind of doesn't take up as much space. And yeah, I've sailed a dagger board boat for years, and so I just, from my experience, I had very little problems with a dagger board boat. So I have made this to be a dagger board boat, so you can see the details of the pulleys, how you get it up and down, and that's it, the Land's End 54 with a dagger board. Okay, here's one more designer. This is an engineer. His name was Jack Corey. He worked with Charlie Morgan as his head engineer at Morgan Yachts for years, and they did the Morgan Out Island 51 and 41 and all the out islands, and then a lot of other boats together. So this is a detail on how to do the masthead to the rotating mast, and Jack was very helpful and very good at what he did, and we made the parts to his drawings. So Jack Corey helped with the Heritage campaign with Charlie Morgan. So they worked together for years and years. Jack still lives in Clearwater. Yeah, these are stainless steel parts, and they were made, and I have them. And these were the drawings that he made, and that's at the just above the deck level. That's what the booms were connected to, was this fitting right here. So you can see the different ways he presented it. Again, Jack Corey did this drawing. Okay, this is another Jack Corey drawing, and this was just a detail on how he these fittings go on the end of carbon fiber booms, and they're stainless steel, and they're I think they're full scale. So that's what he did, and he made these fittings at I guess it was JSI back then, I don't know. But he made the fittings, and we put them on the boom. So we have these, and we're using them. But this is some of the detailed drawings and how you build a boat. Yeah, these are more drawings, and I really don't even know who did this drawing, but I don't see it on it anywhere. But it just shows you an interior layout, and it was early on when it said it was a 52 foot instead of a 54, and you can see all the little closets, and it came out something like that. I mean, there's only so much you can do with space. Pretty much that's the way it is. And you pull that out, we'll look at the overhead view, and again, I don't see anywhere where they really said who did these drawings, so I certainly had enough drawings. There it is with the dagger board. This must have been when I first got it, because I have the centerboard version, another version that was a Land's End Marina logo that a friend of mine did, and he died, and this is just reminds me of some of these old friends. And this was like maybe something like 5 foot version with the keel on it. It just shows you, the possibilities, and I certainly checked it out, to see what the different possibilities were, and then I chose the shallowest draft version, which I thought would be a nice feature to have something would go in 3 feet of water. Yeah, now I'm thinking about it, I think these were done by Sam Stewart. He was working for Donzi, and he came up with this logo, which I thought was pretty clever. Land's End, there's the water, and there's the tree on the land and the water. But he was a really talented person and was working there, and he said that even though he was doing, the motorboat designs for Donzi and was working on different details. See, there's the Ketch version right there, and so that's just the way it is. And so if it's a yawl, it's a yawl, but I think it's a Ketch. I'm not sure. I think it is. So Sam Stewart, a lot of these people are gone, dead and gone. Clark and Sam. Well, these were his drawings, and this is what it looked like as a center border, and this would have been like a keel shoe, like a lead shoe, and it looks good, looks pretty, nothing wrong with that. That would have been a nice boat, but didn't do it that way. So this is a tribute to Sam Stewart and his brother Lynn, who was one of my sailing buddies for years, and Sam did these drawings early on. Okay, we're getting towards the end here. This is the balance rig. So this was the one that we did. I had, my sister wanted to put it on the boat, so we had it built by Gary Carlin, and he was building big carbon fiber boats in Tampa, and so he built the mast and booms out of carbon fiber for us. So this is Land's End 54 with the balance rig.
I was born in a barn. My mama died and my daddy got drunk. Left me here to die grow in the middle of Tobacco Road. Grew up in a rusty shack. All I had was a hanging on my back. Only you know how I love this place called Tobacco Road. 'Cause it's war. The only lie I've ever known. Only you know how I love Tobacco Road.